So, Khushboo can begin the proceedings.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to the new episode of Coffee Conversation. And as you all know, we celebrated Women's Day in the beginning of this month. So I guess, according to me, women are not to be celebrated on a single day. So we thought of keeping the conversation of today's event to be completely on women. So that is empowering women and Stree Shakti. That is Stree Shakti, empowering women within you and around you. And it is brought to you by none other than the Emerging India Forum, that is TEIF, and supported by Prime Infotech Solutions, the Lions Club of Mumbai Shining, India Business Group, Novum Learning Students Group. I'm more than glad to welcome the 4 guest speakers that we have today with us. And even it's an achievement for us having 4 powerful women on the panel today. So I think everyone here should be excited to hear what they have to say and share with us. And just an intimation that I request all the audience, if they have any queries or questions or anything, to wait till the end of the program. We'll have a Q&A session and to keep their mics on mute. So we'll be having the conversation today in 3 rounds. And the first round would be individually with each guest speaker, so that we get each woman get the entire attention properly and not get mixed up, and even we could get the best out of them. And then the second round would be with the entire guest panel all together, having a interesting and intellectual conversation as well as exciting at the same time. And third is a fun event that is the rapid fire round we would be conducting with the guest speakers we have today. And let me welcome the host today of the event. That is, I'm very pleased to announce Lawyer Amirr Virani, sir. I welcome you. He's a legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solutions and the founder of the Emerging India Forum. I welcome you, sir. Good evening. How are you doing?
Yeah. Thank you. Welcome, everyone.
Yes. And secondly, we have Mansoor Thakral, sir. Even he is the co-founder of the Emerging India Forum. I welcome you, sir.
Hi, everyone.
Yes. And I myself, Khushboo Kharbanda, I'm a legal intern at the Prime Infotech Solutions. So without wasting much time, let's move fastly and forward with today's evening event. And I welcome Ms. Dimple Merchant, ma'am, on screen.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening. How are you?
Good, good. How are you? Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you, Mr. Amirr Virani. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mansoor. Thank you all.
Yes. And just a brief description about her. She's the partner at Ivy Merchant and Company. She's the managing partner at Ivy Merchant and Company and is involved in advocacy and soliciting. She's an advocate, banking, corporate, finance, securities law, and the list is endless. She has experience in corporate law, legal advice, securities regulation, arbitration, and commercial litigation, and so on. She's also a part of the Worldwide Independent Lawyers League. I'm already so much impressed with the amount of success short span of time, and we really look forward to having a great conversation with you. Over to you, Mansoor and Amirr, sir.
All right. All right, Dimple. So let's start it. Okay. So can you tell us how's life being a managing partner?
Well, life is great, actually. They have its own ups and downs, but at the same time, God's been kind because it's a challenge. So every day you try to innovate yourself. At the same point in time, you are also, as I'm a lawyer, we have to also look at running the firm at the same point in time, helping our clients. So yes, it's good. It's an exciting journey, and I'm loving every step of the journey that I am in right now. It's great.
Okay. So if you could share a certain of incident or a certain kind of thing that has happened to you since you've become the managing partner.
Well, I would probably just say that once you are at this position, it's very important that one, you have to be mindful, one, you have to be alert. At the same point in time, it's also very important that you continue to hold your values, your integrity, your principles very strongly, because situations will come in your life and in your day-to-day practice. But who you are, you have to maintain that and move forward. And yeah, that's how I think my journey so far has been. So it's good.
All right. So now we all know like LinkedIn is like the important part of every professional person's life. And we happen to see your LinkedIn profile and it says that you have 23 skills that you boldly written over there. So we want to understand which is your favorite skill and how you have developed those skills.
So I would probably say the developing of skills happen with everyday practice.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that even though you are running the firm or anything, but you still have your roots stuck to law. So every day I keep practicing, learning new things, because as soon as you say that you are done and or you know everything, it's the end of knowledge actually for you. So every day, we upscale ourselves. And when it comes to knowing the skills, or maybe what is my favorite skill, I would probably say love strategizing. So
Okay.
it could be strategizing a litigation, or it could be strategizing a real estate transaction or a commercial transaction. So yeah, that's one of my favorite skills. And yeah, I think that covers a lot of skills internally.
Because when you talk about strategizing, so what are the key points you keep in mind by strategizing a particular thing?
So
Like say
when
a
you
case
start,
or something that comes.
so when you
Yeah.
strategize, it's very important that you just don't look at the current scenarios while strategizing. It's very important that you should know what could be the future implications of the strategy that you make. So it's very important for that aspect. And the second thing is, while strategizing, you have to also keep in mind, because at times when you're strategizing probably a transaction, it's not a litigation, because litigation is where you're actually fighting for your partner, for your client. But when you're strategizing a transaction, it's very important for you to also understand that what are your client's needs when a transaction needs to be sorted, and at the same time, and you have to also see that the transaction is beneficial to both the parties, because then only it will you'll go through with the transaction. So the strategies have to be done in that manner that they have a long lasting agreement or a happy agreement. Of course, then it is subject to their internal issues if there are any, but at least I would look at that aspect.
So what would, like, when you started out as a fresher, what was the gain? What are the things you were trying to gain as experience? So if you could share something like that for our audience.
So when I started off as a fresher, to be very honest, I had no idea what a litigation or a non-litigation would be like. The first day of my internship, I was with my father, and I just asked him briefly that, what do I say? What question? If they ask me something, I don't know. And he just simply said that, okay, you just tell that, you want to learn litigation, non-litigation. I actually mucked those words up, to be honest, when I had to go and meet my senior. And then, yeah, since then, every day has been a journey as an intern, kind of learned a lot. And I realized one thing that, and my seniors have been telling me this, is that your paperwork has to be very strong. So if you know your papers well back in hand in times of litigation or anyway, otherwise also, things are much more simpler and easier. So I strived doing that. And so I kind of tried to make my basic as strong as I could in my internship days. So now I think that is helping me out now too.
Okay, so could you give some advice to any person who's just he's a law graduate or a law student who's planning to go into corporate law? What would be your top 3 or 4 tips that person should follow?
Well, my first tip would be, to be very honest, is stop jumping law firms. because
Okay.
as an intern, you probably would want to intern at various law firms and have an expressive curriculum vitae or resume that you've been working in these in all these law firms. But if you really want to learn, then stick in one firm. You will be able to understand the entire concept very well, because at the end of the day, conceptual clarity is very important. And if you don't have that, and if you don't understand why you're doing certain applications in case of litigation or in case of corporate, why this particular strategy is taken, then there is no point just sitting and doing some research work, because you will never know the depth of it. And on top of it, after even doing a research work, you will not know where that research is applied, because by that time you are done with your internship. So my advice is that first, please stick to where you are. Of course, you have to see that the firm where you're working is of the interest of what you want to do and you want to practice. At times, I understand you could be clueless because there are too many things and too many options now in law. So you can explore, but where you feel that this is where your interest is lying, then somewhere I think you should continue in that firm. And secondly, please keep reading. No shortcuts, because that won't take you anywhere. So read as much as judgments as possible, because at times not only litigation but in non-litigation also judgments are very it's very helpful, because you will then know how to carve out your clauses whenever it's required, in terms of any recent judgments or in terms of the do's and don'ts that you could probably look at in that scenario. So I think basically that's what I would like to say.
All right. So when we talk about being at one law firm, so is this anything has to do with credibility of a particular intern who's interning at a law firm? Like when people check out the resume, something like that?
Credibility is one part, Mansoor, but the other part is the knowledge that you gather.
Mhm.
So from my experience as a fresher, I would probably say is I was interning for a long time at one place, then another. But the point is that in each of the places that I was there, I just knew the whole process and why we were filing certain applications, what happened, what was the outcome. So at that point in time, you kind of understand the processes in law. See, studying law is one part, but practicing law is a different thing altogether. So when you're practicing it, it's very important that you will be only able to understand it when you are there in that picture. With litigation, again, if you say, like, if you are interning for 1 month, today the matter is there in court, maybe the next date is next month, but then you don't know what happened to the next date. You don't know what
Right.
happened in the matter. You worked on it, but then you don't know. So that's the only thing that for the knowledge purpose also is very important. And yeah, credibility, of course, because you've been at one place for a long time.
All right. Thank you for the insights. I'd like to call on Mr. Amirr Virani for the technology questions right now.
Yeah, thank you, Mansoor. And Dimple has been answering her experience starting from fresh to her journey being a partner, a managing partner at IB Merchant. Impressive, and more success to you, Dimple. My question will be, since you're running a law firm with great success, how big is the role of technology according to you for your law firm?
So technology is very important actually, because in earlier days, we understand that we were the old school where we used to type everything, but now with the advent of technology, law and tech has to go in parallel. Without that, the processes go slow. So it's very important that you have to set right processes in terms of technology in your firm.
Okay, so what steps you have taken in terms of legal technology, like software wise, and how it will help you and your team? Can you
So
share
what
something?
we've done, no. So what we've done is we have a customized software, which is in place, but of course we are trying to develop it even more with the day-to-day requirements and the changes that are there. prior to this, we did definitely have your regulars like your Google and the cloud, etc., etc. But yes, we definitely feel that it is required, and therefore you have to have your softwares in place. Right softwares, I would say.
Yes, yes. Right software. There are many legal technology tools are there, like comparison is there, then contract drafting is there, PDF are there, so many things are there.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, Indian companies, mid-size law firms are taking interest in implementing these solutions, which we have seen during the pandemic times. And definitely, so thank you, Dimple. There will be, we'll continue our conversations in much more in next, what do you say, next coffee conversation, because there is a lot more to talk with each one of you all, because there is more depth. So over to Khushboo to invite the next speaker.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your insights and knowledge with us. And now I would like to invite Ms. Khushnuma Khan, ma'am, from KK Associates. Am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
I think Khushnuma ma'am's on mute. Khushnuma ma'am, you're on mute.
Yeah, I have started.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So good evening, Khushboo, and good evening, Amirr. Thank you so much for inviting us to this platform of coffee with you, and making us share our experiences, and to make the new incumbents know that how the legal practice emerges and how legal profession is done, and what is the role of the lawyers into this legal profession. What are the pros and cons and ups and downs of the legal industry? Thank you again. Yeah, can we have the question?
Thank you, ma'am. Just I have ma'am, few words to say about you so that people can have an introduction.
Khushboo, can you speak a little louder? I'm unable to hear you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm saying that I just have an introduction about you to give to the audience so that they can have a better idea. So I welcome Khushnuma ma'am on behalf of Team TEIF. She has an experience of over 28 years in the field of law. She has expertise in domestic and international corporate litigation and arbitration. She did her BCom from KC College from 1986 to 1989 and her LLB in banking, corporate finance and securities law from KC College. She has also studied to become a solicitor from Bombay Incorporated Law Society. She has several endorsements on LinkedIn from the biggest of the industry and has also received several awards. She has several publications to her name as well. I welcome you, ma'am, on behalf of the entire team. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Over to you, Mansoor and Amirr sir.
How are you doing, Khushnuma ma'am?
I'm doing good, Mansoor. How are you?
Long time.
How are you, Mansoor?
I'm doing good. I'm doing fantastic.
Don't scare me with your questions.
No, last time when we had a conversation with you, you were very bold enough to
I was
answer
scared.
everything.
I was scared with your questions.
All right, ma'am, let's start it. Okay. So, ma'am, 28 years of experience in dealing with domestic, international corporate litigation, arbitration. So, some interesting moments. We would want to hear that from you.
Mansoor, honestly speaking, every moment that I have spent in this profession, each passing day has given me new challenges, new experiences, and I have enjoyed living it. It's more of a passion to me, and I love doing each day the sort of cases and the sort of litigation that I receive. It's unique in its own self. And each day when a client comes to me with a problem, and when I sit personally, I sit with the clients discussing on the problems that they have, and then I get into it, I feel that this is something which belongs to me, and I give a personal attention to my clients. So I mean, it will be very difficult for me to identify a particular case because every case is close to my heart.
Okay. So, but I'm not going to let you go that easy now.
You may proceed.
So, if you, okay, let's like share your experience about your first case that you actually got.
First case.
Yes, that's an interesting story, I bet.
Yes, indeed, it is a very interesting story. I'll tell you that how I got my first case. Now, you know, I was with big companies, legal firms, and then I decided to start my own practice and own journey. So I didn't had an office because I don't have a godfather in this profession, and I had I mean, there was nobody I could look upon and say that, oh, hey, I am starting my new practice, so give me some cases or give me some matters. That was not the case with me. I didn't have anything on the plate. Like, so when I started and I decided to go all out on my own, the first thing that I did was I went to Citibank ATM and I took up, I just took out some cash and went to Tata Croma and purchased a laptop for me. That was the starting, that this is now going to be my office. This laptop is my office now. And I had a very good friend whom I went, and I approached him and I said, look, I am going to start my own practice and my own venture. Would you allow me to operate from your office? So he said, Khushnuma, you are welcome to operate from my office, but see, I have only a small space left, which is the loft. So if you want, you can share the loft with me. So I said, okay, show me the loft. So he showed me the loft. So I said, now I have to start somewhere. So I said, okay, I will use your loft. Don't worry. So I started I started sitting over there using the loft. Then one fine day, there was a client who came dropping into his office and say, look, I'm searching for new, he had some problem. He said, I'm looking out for a lawyer. It was, so he said, yes, we have a lawyer. She's my friend. She sits on the loft. Wait, she's operating from the same office. I'll call her. So he called me down and I discussed. And then he gave me that person, his client. When I discussed with him over the matter, he was very happy. He said, you have given me, I have approached so many lawyers, but nobody could give me the advice that you have given me. And I'm very impressed the way you have described that, discussed with me my matter. And I know that whether I am successful or not successful, that's different. But I'm very happy and very keen to give you this case. So that's the first case I got, and I was very happy. Oh my God, that's the first case that I got. And it was not a very big case, but a very small case. But to me, it was very big, and it still is very big to me because that was the first case which I got of my life. And it was in Bombay City Civil Court. I appeared. I did everything. I mean, I would be awake the whole night because I said, oh, okay, I have to give my best to it. This is my first case. It should not go like this. And I did everything on my own. I had no pew, no client, no juniors, nobody, no stitch boy, nothing. Everything was like one-man show. So I did that. And but I said that I need somebody, to support me and help me. So what do I do? So I went to my younger brother. I said, look, so he had his own business. So I said, look, I don't have anybody, but I need you to support me, to help me. Will you join me as to assist me in my legal profession? So he said, okay. He never refused. He said, okay, whatever, I will be happy. Then I thought, yeah, I am not earning myself. I'm taking the liability of my brother. What to do? And I'm asking him to leave his job and come with me, whatever work he was doing at his office. So, but he joined me, and then both of us used to go to court, attend that matter, and come back. Since then, there has been no moment in my life to look back or regret or refrain. Every day has been a success story for me. I have, Alhamdulillah, by grace of Allah, I have grown leaps and bounds on my own. And that is something which keeps me going every moment, that if you decide, then you can make your own way.
Definitely, man. That's so motivational. Okay, so Khushnuma ma'am, as you said, you started the law firm from the law. So what exactly like motivated you to start it?
Look, I have been working with big law firms. I won't name them, but one of the top law firms in Mumbai, in the city. And of course, some of the very well-known firms in India. They were at that point of time. So I had been working with them, both litigation, arbitration, corporate. But somewhere down the line, that fire was in my belly always, that I have to always follow the instruction. I should be the one giving instruction. I should be my own boss, my own judge. I should know how to do my work. I should have my own command over my work. Whether I do right or wrong, it should be me answerable to myself, not to others. So that is where, it was always in my temperament to build my own self. So that's where it kept me motivated. And also, when I left my last job from the law firm, my father told me that day, when I came back home, and he said, look, this was your last job. If now you want to do your profession, you have to do it on your own. Otherwise, you are sitting home, not going anywhere. So I said, oh my God, this is the ultimatum. So I have to do something, and I have to, put up myself somewhere. Otherwise, my father will, block me in the room. So that kept me motivated.
Definitely. Okay. So ma'am, you have been given like several awards and everything. So which one is like the most memorable award that you have received?
Every award is, I have got awards from several industries, and every award is special to me. The last of the award I received from Industry Outlook, when they recognized me as the top amongst the top 10 corporate law firms in corporate services. So every award which I received was unique in itself, because I received from several industries. So, I cannot identify that which is the best. All is the best.
All living in the moment altogether. That's what.
Yes, I live in the moment, and everyone which comes to me, it's like it's new to me.
Definitely. Okay, so this would be like the last question of mine. But before that, I am really keen to asking you one more. Okay, so
Please.
don't mind that. So you're like a member of the International Bar of Association of the USA. So can you please elaborate it exactly? What is it?
See, International Bar Association is like you have Bombay Bar Association.
Mm-hmm.
You appellate side, every court has a bar association, or Supreme Court has a bar association. So I'm a life member of Supreme Court Bar Association as well.
Okay.
Similarly, the Bar Association, International Bar Association, is a body where the lawyers across the globe can become a member. There are several committees within the organization where you are, whichever committee you feel you can give your best, or it's of your interest to you. So after you sign yourself as a member of the International Bar Association, you can also sign up as a committee. It's per your choice, and then you have to work towards that. So I have been involved into few committees like women empowerment, human rights, arbitration, mediation. So these are the committees which I am actively involved, and I work with them closely.
All right. Thank you for that. Okay. Your last question, and I'm leaving you off the hook. Okay. So your advice to anyone who's just passed out from college, or who's right now trying to get into the field of law, what would be your top 3 advices or tips?
Looking from the profession point of view, if you are really keen and interested after passing the law to become a lawyer, then you should join a good law firm under a good senior. At least give yourself 3 to 5 years to take training under your senior, to understand from him, how the profession is done, how the documents are drafted, how the pleadings are done, how the conferences are done, how you do the research. All this is very important, and then you only learn when you give yourself a time with your senior. Because nowadays there is a trend that after passing, within 6 months of the training or internship, the juniors try to get into their own ventures. So that's really killing, because then we see when you enter into into a zone or into an area without experiencing the tracks that it can follow, then obviously you're creating a threat for yourself, and you're also trying to uh, lower the demeanor of the profession itself, because we are into a very great profession.
All right. Thank you for that. Over to you, Mr. Amirr.
Khushnuma, your experience of 28 years, how technology
Hi,
has
Amirr.
evolved. Hi, yeah, hi. So I would like to ask you, since in your 28 years journey, how is the evolution of legal technology has been, and how technology has helped you in your 28 years of journey?
When I joined the profession, there was no, the computers were newly introduced during that time. Mostly the works were done by the typist on the typewriters, those electronic typewriters or manual typewriters, where we were giving the dictation. At times we have to use our hand, pen and pencil and paper to write down. But slowly, there was an advancement and computers came in. And it was then we thought, oh my God, the computers have come, they are fast, more superior to us, and we need to learn the art of typing. Though I did not know typing, and I have never known typing at all. But we slowly inculcated that habit in ourselves to use the computer and to start, pressing the buttons of those keyboards, leaving the writing pad and paper. But over the period of years, there has been vast changes. Technology has really brought in some commendable resources and approach. It's everything has its good part and bad part. The advantages and disadvantages are always there of anything that you have in your life. But it's depends upon you that what you choose. You choose advantages or disadvantages. It's up to you. And we have seen the use of technology, that drastically how it has been used during the pandemic for past 2 years. We have now gone more used to the technology, and we completely have lost the track of physical appearances in court, and the physical filing of proceedings. The use of the papers have minimized to a considerable extent. So there is a huge differences which the technology has brought into our lives, but at the same time we have also lost the originality which was there. Now you and me are talking on the Zoom. Imagine if this meeting would have been face to face. Imagine the excitement, expression that we and all the participants would have experienced that time. So there is always, as I said, advantages as well as disadvantages.
Okay, mine agreed. Technology is here to help us, but as humans, we need physical interaction. So I agree with you, which pandemic made us lose that human touch. So hopefully we'll meet in person, Khushnuma. I'll be meeting all the speakers in person.
Looking forward.
To have real coffee conversation over a coffee.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. My next question will be, Khushnuma, to you. Technology is helping you. Listen to the sentence. Technology helps you to increase the billable hours of a law firm. How much do you believe in, and what steps you have taken to implement in your law firm?
I would disagree, because technology has not increased the billable hours at all, because even the clients have understood that if you are using a technology sitting inside your office and attending a call, there is no hours that you are spending really on my work. When earlier, the lawyers, including us, the firms, they used to charge the clerkate charges. Now, because everything is done online filing, when we raise a bill to the client, there are 10 questions which the client sends us along back with the bill. He says, please explain us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it becomes difficult to justify on those things, So one has to be really careful now while raising the bill that what you are raising to the client. So, I mean, it has not, it may have increased the efficiency, but after the pandemic, no way, the billings have not been increased.
Yeah, but pandemic has brought in huge psychological impact. But we have seen in the pandemic times also, there have been cases where law firms, not only mid-size, but big size, have invested heavily in technology like contract drafting, for PDF management, for metadata. So there have been cases where they have stayed away from using the technology because it has been a first time. This is the global pandemic effect. So fear has been then in people to work from home, where they've been going through psychological changes. So, but good thoughts, good insights you have shared. Yes, technology helps you to increase efficiency, but how you implement now convert those efficiency now after the pandemic times using technology to improve the work life and also your ROI by 10x or by 40%. That with your IT team and with the users. So there have been cases, now people have started again looking at implementing technology, which is now cloud-based are there, solutions are there. You can work anytime, anywhere with the right legal technology tools. So we can, this will be another topic, which will another coffee conversation will go on. So over to you. Thank you, Khushnuma. Over to you.
We have we have implemented all the softwares, cloud, Google. We have Google Drive. We have everything in our office. We have the software, the data storage system, everything. But besides that, we have also maintaining and keeping the manual documents, because we never know at times if the technology gets disturbed or there are any changes, I will lose my data. So where do I get that from? So I have to also side by side keep maintaining those manual things, right?
That's true. That's true. As Indians, we are more towards this manual processes, manual data filing, everything. So that has to be done.
It's just not manual processes, but I am a lawyer. I belong to both breeds, the old and the new. So I try to balance between the two. I want to keep the both going together. I don't want to leave one for the other.
That's impressive. So I told you, okay, bye with you. There's another coffee conversation which we'll be having another series.
I look forward for that. I look forward.
What do you think? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. Next, I would like to call upon and introduce Pakhi Garg, ma'am, who is an in-house counsel at Gartner. She has expertise in technology laws, and she is from Uttarakhand, a law graduate from Amity Law School and a postgraduate in cyber laws from Indian Law Institute. She is an in-house counsel at Gartner, as I mentioned. Also, she is an acting advisor and a data privacy consultant at World Cyber Security Forum, which is focused on cyber laws and cybersecurity. You will get to know about the speaker's journey and success mantra recipe. And so, yes, I welcome you, ma'am. And then again, over to you, Mansoor and Amirr, sir.
Hi, Khushboo. Hi, everyone. A very good evening to all of you. Thank you for such a lovely invitation. It's a pleasure having you all, hearing such insightful sessions, having such a great people around me. It's genuinely a very good opportunity.
Thanks, ma'am.
All right. We are glad to have you with us, Pakhi ma'am. Hope you're doing all good.
Finally. Definitely, Mansoor. Hoping the same for you.
Yes. Okay. So let's begin. So you have an experience in tech law, and you have been also involved into contract administrating and management. How has the experience been so far?
So as a fresher, when I graduated from Amity Law School, Noida in year 2019, so I got the opportunity to work with Big Four, and that is PwC. So that was my first job, and that was something like a big dream come true for any fresher getting into a corporate job, and specifically with the Big Four, it's another level happiness. So yeah, from there I get into this CLM structure, that is contract lifecycle management. And we were dealing into not just the commercial contracts, but the IT contracts as well. And before than that, I had already enrolled and completed my degrees in cyber law from Indian Law Institute. So IT contracts was something that was always enticing to me. So from there, I get a lot of perspective. From there, I get a lot of things to be taken into the consideration. I know all the legalities that are going hand by hand. So it was genuinely a very difficult, I would rather say, on the first instance, because this was something that the reality was different. And when you come into the picture with your professional journey, then things are far different from that. So it was definitely a difficult structure to follow, but slowly and gradually, when you feel that you want to learn, and when you actually wanted to learn, then I think there's nothing impossible. But you need to put your heart and soul in that specific thing to learn and to develop yourself more into that. So at that moment of time, I decided that I will be pursuing my career further in this subdomain only, that is IT contracts and CLM.
Okay. So when you talk about PwC, it's like one of the biggest consultancy firms in the world. So when we talk about the experience, when you entered in like as a fresher over there, what was the first thoughts that came in your mind? If you could just share an in-depth detail in that. You were scared, you were like excited. What was it?
So I remember when they took my interview, they asked me, Pakhi, do you know what are those Big Fours? I named the 3 and I lost the 4. And coincidentally, PwC was the one I lost. And said, the place you are sitting is the next last Big Four. And I said, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't remember the name. I only remember 3. And they were fine with it. Then definitely the work was really very hard for the initial stages, as I have already discussed, because that was something very difficult, very different because of the jurisdiction as well. There were US contracts, there were Australian contracts that I was dealing into. But for now, I was only aware about the Indian jurisdiction, but not for the other countries or the other places. So that was a bit difficult for me to understand. But initially, you have to brush your knowledge. People around you might help you, but at the end of the day, you are the only one who needs to focus on you, who needs to learn, who needs to grab. You need to Google. You cannot just simply say that, no, I am dependent on somebody else because my manager has given me this work and I don't know anything. So I'll settle down and I'll wait for him to ask. You have to be more prompt while you work, because that is the only thing that actually can make you grow. If you're not prompt, then this corporate world, or not even any job, is for that specific person who had this kind of a mindset that I'll sit along and nobody will come up and this happen. So it's not like that. So it was a really a big dream come true, although it was never in my that dream bucket list that I wanted to go for PwC. Rather, I have some different sort of a dream. But yeah, when I got into it, it was like, wow, you are into a Big Four. Now you have to manage those responsibilities because they always say, and I see things are there, but responsibility is also a bigger part. If we see the bigger picture, because you don't understand what clients say about certain things. You are really unaware about certain things, what they want, exactly what they are looking forward from your end, and what you are actually doing. Now it has 20,000 mistakes, and now you again have to settle down and rectify them. At that time, it is most important that you should be just taking care about your mental well-being, because you don't have to feel disheartened from your mistakes. So that was something related to that part only.
So when you talk about mental health, so I assume that by the expressions on your face and talking about the job, you were excited, but there was a lot of stress also. So how did you manage that?
Oh, frankly speaking, yes, there was a lot of stress because there was a lot of, late hour working. Like I used to work till 3 a.m. in the night at those moments of time. But somehow or the other, I decided after a certain period of time that I really need to take care of my mental health, because I am not getting that think out of it. Hence, I decided that I will quit the job. I will settle down first. And my parents, I'm very lucky to have them because they're very liberal and they're very good with every decision of mine. So they were very fine with it. Whatever you want to do, just go ahead with it. So it's not just about that. You only need to take care about the mental well-being of yourself. Of course, your surrounding things also plays a vital role. But at the end of the day, stress management is something that we need to ensure that we should carry it out on ourselves. We can do anything. There are n number of things that can help us in managing the stress at the workplace as well. You can definitely reach out to some kind of a mental health being person or just a psychologist if you seems that this is something that is going beyond your length and you cannot control that or you cannot handle that. There's only one mantra that I follow. I work from 10 to 7. I don't do late working hours anymore. I am very prompt with it. I'm very strict about my deadlines now, that whatever work might be, I won't take any client calls after 7 p.m. That's a strict rule. And even I'm lucky that my seniors and my other colleagues do understand that and they respect my decision. But if they don't, I am fine with that, because ultimately one has to understand that after certain hours, you don't need to work. You don't need to take your stress along with your home because you have a family to handle. You have people who are waiting for you, who do love you. You have your personal commitments and personal life as well. You need to take care of that as well. So this is how I manage during that time.
Very deep insights you've given. All right. So, ma'am, you want to know, so you're the advisor at World Cybersecurity Forum. So can you please share more about what you do there?
Okay. So World Cybersecurity Forum, basically it was founded in year 2019 by 2 other people as well, along with me. So we try to create a space where we are just creating this cyber awareness, because there are a lot of cyber crimes happening around the globe, and we want to just aware the people or kindle them about their rights, because we belong to the legal community. And it's our prime duty. We understand that it's our prime duty to make them understand about their legal rights in cyberspace. So that was the whole concept. And then we started various other things, like techno-legal consultation is the major part of it. When I talk about the techno-legal consultancy, then it means that people come to us to share their issues and problems, and we try to tackle them, or we try to help them in every legal way that we could. Secondly, we do provide them with the cyber counseling. We connect them with the psychologist and they can share their own instances with them, because sometimes majorly in the stalking cases, if you see cyberbullying, cyber stalking, if we see the old data, then we can see that the teenagers, the girls, they are the prime victims. And we can see there are n number of suicides that has happened in last 10 years. The day before I was reading a survey, and actually I was very shocked after reading some instances that a teenager of 12 years old or of 15 years old just suicided because he was facing cyberbullying in his school. And this incident was of Australia. And even there are other incidents as well that are not being reported till date. Catfishing is such incident. Yes. So these are some major incidents that actually gave us a glimpse that no, somebody needs to walk into the picture, and somebody needs to tell them that this is not going to be taken into the account because it is illegal. And this is not just illegal, but it's just ethically wrong as equally well. So that is the whole scenario. We did all this structure. Then we started with the e-learning things and that. When I talk about the e-learnings, then we have various resources that deals into the cyber thing, where we just conduct various boot camps, various training workshops. We provide the corporate trainings as well when it comes to the cyber security. So we try to balance the difference between the cyber law and the cyber security part, because they go parallelly, they go hand in hand. They are just a kind of a 2 sides of a coin. Whether you flip the other side, you will find the other one. So this is what we do in World Cybersecurity Forum.
So connecting to that, we know that you have a publication, which is Meaning and Legal Aspects of Cyber Turfing. So can you tell us more about this publication and when you wrote it?
So I wrote it somewhere around in April 2020. So I got it published on my own website. And cyber turfing is nothing but it is related to the topic of astroturfing, where any organization, any corporate, any company tries to just, just damage the reputation of the other organization or any political party who's trying to damage the reputation of the other political party just to gain their own benefits. So cyber turfing is just that specific thing is turning down on the internet. So this is a basic idea of what cyber turfing is. Basically, many countries, like many developed nations like US, is very serious about it. They have a separate law for that. Australia is very serious about it. Europe is very prominent about cyber space, because we can see that Europe is the only continent in the world that has such a strong cyberspace regulations, that is known as GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. But we aren't. We are still into the developing nations. Southeastern countries are not that developed. Not only just the Southeast nations. Actually, I won't say Southeast nations, just because when we see Singapore doing the best, we can check out several surveys, then we can see that Singapore is the country that has actually acquired a lot of patents in last few years. They are doing pretty well. But when I specifically compare any other country with India, then we don't have any laws. We just have one thing that is known as the IT Act, and the IT Act is still silent about any kind of these things. Rather, we can definitely switch on to the IPR part, that is intellectual property rights. But again, this is not just directly related, but still, when I talk about the law interface, then we actually need some kind of an amendment so that we can start addressing these issues prominently in the world. So it was just related to that aspect, where I have talked about various countries, what laws they were dealing in, and the current situation in India. What are we feeling that? So this was all the publication is all about.
All right. So, ma'am, we know that you have received 2 awards. Okay. So, what was these 2 awards about?
Sorry, can you please?
No, I said you have received 2 awards, right? You have received 2 awards. So, if you want to know, what are these 2 awards that you received about?
So my first award was that I got published on the top attorneys page over Instagram and their website as well in the month of November 2021 itself. So they generally take out the profiles of all the lawyers, all the advocates around the globe, basis on the country, and they might be having their set criteria that maybe this kind of the lawyer they want to be published on their page. So they published me. They chose me for the month of November 2021, and they just get me into that picture. And second award that I got that was from the Nergia brand promoters for the best leadership award that I got in December 2021 with a proper online event function. So for my leadership skills in WCSF and my role in World Cybersecurity Forum.
Okay. So ma'am, we do know that you volunteer for an organization known as Blood Connect. So can you tell us what is this organization about and how do you contribute to it?
So basically, Blood Connect is a sort of an NGO, you can say that, and it is started by the IIT alumni of Delhi only. And what they do is they used to connect people for the blood requirement things. So let's assume they have their specific website there. A person can just raise their requirements for the platelets or for the specific blood group. And being a volunteer, it's my responsibility to take up that request into the account and connect that person to the database that they had already shared with me of that specific area. Now that specific data is divided into several parts that is matching the requirement or the need of that specific person who has raised that specific request. Like it could be based on the filter, the city is the major filter, then the blood group is the major filter, then whether that person is willing to travel or not. So there are certain criteria. So basically my job was to just connect two people and just ensure that the requirement, whatever has been raised, gets fulfilled. So I worked with them somewhere around for 1 to 1.5 years. So that was my part.
So ma'am, what would be your advice to any person who's right now trying to pursue technology law?
First advice, whether you are from the law background or whether you are from the tech background, it doesn't matter. you have to learn the other way around as well. If you're from the technical background, you should be aware about the law as well, and vice versa. So it's like that, because both things goes hand in hand. So I never say that please learn one thing and you will be not able to catch up the other thing. No, it's not going to be like this. You have to be very prompt. You have to read. This is the only skill that I still perform in my day. I genuinely read an article every day that is related to the technology laws. So every day, like I have subscribed to many newsletters. Even I have my own newsletter that is based on technology law, and I do share it on the LinkedIn on timely manner. So what I used to do is I used to just make crisp points of whatever I have read, so that it could help other people as well who do not have the time or who don't know exactly where to start from, could get an idea that, okay, fine, this is the thing, and there we can read all the updates. So this is one thing. IAPP is such a website, such a lovely website. We can say that it provides the glimpse of all the world affairs in the regime of data privacy. So firstly, we go up for the article reading, for the blog reading, but from, of course, from the good resources. So it's a very clear indication that a good resources needs to be read. Secondly, practice. There are many skills that needs to be practiced by a person. At least a language, any kind of a high level language you should know. At least you should be aware about the basic language. Like I'm familiar about the C++ and Java. I'm still learning the Python, although I'm not getting the appropriate time to just completely grab it on or put my hands on it, but I'm still trying. So the person can do that as well. There are other certifications attached to the technology law as well. Like if you wanted to grow in the corporate sector, but in the data privacy regime, then there are other certifications that needs to be completed by the person. So that specific organizations are taking those people only that are having those kind of the certifications. Like CIPPE is one such certification, Certified Information Privacy Professional, and E stands for Europe. It is divided into various continents. Like if a person wanted to opt for Europe, they can opt for E. If they wanted to opt for United States, they can opt for US. So there are n number of certifications like that. Companies actually are looking forward for such candidates. There's a high demand. And right now in India, we don't have the high demand in comparison to the other continents where there are full-fledged legislation. But if the PDP comes into the picture, that is the Personal Data Protection Bill that we are constantly talking about since last 3 months, the JPC committee is talking about. If that came into the picture, according to their report only, there will be approximately 2 to 3 lakh jobs on the same day in only data privacy field, and they will be definitely looking for these skills only that I have just discussed with you. So these are some of the prominent skills that one should always focus. And if they want to pursue their career in that, then they should genuinely take it very seriously, because it might sound very easy that we can do that, hum to kar lenge. No, but it isn't. We have to be very serious about it. We have to ensure the quality checks about it. Whatever we are doing should be relevant. So this is all skills that I personally follow.
All right. Thank you, Pakhi. Over to you, Mr. Lina.
Yeah. Profile, Pakhi. I'm also part of the cybersecurity community. I'm a member of CyberFrat.
Yeah.
So you can have another series of conversations. As I said, each one speaker is unique in her field and experience. My question to you, Pakhi, will be, since you are associated with the cybersecurity and working in the field, I want to know, okay, me and the audience over here, as well as those who have not over here, how is the law firms get up for cybersecurity or GDPR compliance? What steps are they taking?
So basically,
in terms of technology, Pakhi, in terms of technology.
Sorry, your voice is breaking. I didn't get the exact.
I'll repeat my question. How law firms are geared up for cybersecurity compliance as well as GDPR compliance in terms of technology?
Okay. So, Mr. Virani, there are some important pointers that they need to keep into the checklist if they are carrying out their business in Europe continent, then definitely they need to adhere to the GDPR compliance. Firstly, this is the prime condition because the jurisdiction is getting changed, and EU has already talked about the trans-border communication that we generally talk about, trans-border data flow that we call in GDPR. So they have explicitly mentioned the terms and condition and the attached rules to the GDPR that yes, if an organization is taking our citizens' data, whether the server is in India or in any other nation, then definitely they have to comply with our rules. So all the GDPR checklist will be applicable to them. So all those fundamental rights according to the GDPR that the citizens are getting will definitely come up into the picture, like right to consent, right to forgotten, right to disclosure of information. So these are some of the prominent rights that they are talking about. And even they have to follow up those principles as well. They have to clearly mention into the privacy policy that for what purpose they are extracting the data of the customers. They have to explicitly mention each and everything. And if a customer requests or a customer demands that they want their data to be changed, modified, deleted, then also they have to perform with that. So these are some of the key pointers, a very basic checklist. I'm telling you that it's a very basic checklist that they generally need to form, and they cannot, they cannot just deny that. Otherwise, GDPR is very strict when it comes to the compliance part. They don't leave the people, because a few days back, you must have also heard about the incident that CNRI has already in France has already imposed a great amount of $1 million penalty on YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp just for the cookie management policy, because they were not following the cookie management policy. And EU is also very strict about the cookie management policy. Every time we get a pop-up, if I opt to reject it, then they are no one to say no. If only you say accept, then only I will make you my website available. However, in India, if we compare that in India, then we don't have anything per se for that right now. So these are a very basic checklist that cookie needs to be maintained, cache needs to be maintained. They cannot send them these spam mails or anything like that. They cannot use their data without their prior permission. They cannot share that specific data even with their sister concerns. So this is a very prime or a basic checklist that they need to follow.
My question second is how law firms are implementing technology for GDPR. They are, means how savvy are they? How keen are they? Any examples, like you can share some examples like keenness, because we have been working in the space of technology solutions. We have seen we provide legal technology solutions. So there have been tools which we have given to the law firms. I won't name anyone. There have been cases where they have disabled the metadata part. What they say, this is hampering their speed, but they don't realize if they don't clean the document before sending the email, there will be a lot of financial repercussions for them. So the keenness for the user is what the speed, but they don't realize what will happen. The tool is there with them, and there have been cases where they have asked us to disable. So I want to know, what is your experience in this?
So yes, there are tools. I completely agree to your point that there are instances when they have done that. Recent incidents was done with the Google Analytics, where the company has explicitly said that you cannot, that they have just put in up a point that Google Analytics is something that is illegal to that specific country. So according to the GDPR, now in the complete European Union, they are not taking the Google Analytics into a positive manner. Rather, they are just saying it that it's a tool that is actually extracting all the important data from the corporate or from the organization, and they are just putting it, wrap it up. So now only I was reading some days back only about this Google Analytics thing, and they have actually imposed a fine on it because that was not permissible at all during that moment of time. So yes, there are disabilities as well whenever we talk about any kind of an application or any kind of a tool, because somehow or the other, they are actually just, they're just actually curtailing our rights. curtailing the rights of the citizens, curtailing the rights of every other person who's their user. So yes, it is happening around a lot of the time. And according to the GDPR, they are taking that into consideration, and they are definitely just try to reaching them out and just putting the monetary penalties over them.
Thank you. We'll continue our conversation because there are a lot of things like cybersecurity, GDPR, the metadata. This is a very new term which the law firms or legal professionals are not aware in India. International people are aware and they have strict actions for if the user has disabled. But in India, so we'll work together for this awareness thing, which we'll connect with you. And we're planning to have awareness programs because, as you know, cybersecurity, no one, even cybersecurity companies, professionals won't be aware about the implications of metadata in a Word, Excel, PPT, PDF. So that is another separate conversation which we will have with you. Over to you, Khushboo. Thank you, Pakhi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Virani.
There are second and third round is there. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am and sir. Yes, thank you so much, ma'am and sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Now I would like to invite Gaurangi Patil ma'am from GP Associates. She has experience in consumer disputes, banking and finance, alternative dispute resolution, commercial laws, property and real estate, customs and excise, intellectual property, shipping and maritime laws. She was also a lecturer at GLC, that is Government Law College, Churchgate. She has done her BLS LLB from Mumbai, LLM in intellectual property laws from MNLU Mumbai. She has done her diploma in intellectual property rights and cyber law of crimes. I welcome you, ma'am, on behalf of Team TEIF. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you so much. Thank you for such a lovely and a kind introduction. I must say a few words about this coffee conversation. It is a really great initiative by Emerging India Forum, which is supported by Lions Club. So it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Mansoor sir.
All right, Gaurangi ma'am, how it's going?
It's going great.
All right. Okay, so ma'am, as we have just read your introduction and we have known that you have a lot of experience in corporate law, banking, oil, real estate, maritime law, exercise law, everything. How has the journey been? How have you been able to get into so many things? And what is the experience like?
So the experience was a bumpy ride for sure. Okay. But it's been really a great journey. I will cherish it forever. I've had my own ups and downs, and there've been very funny incidents. There've been incidents where I've been very proud of myself and the achievements that I've had. So the journey has been quite interesting for me. Yes, certainly.
So if you would like to share a certain kind of a moment in this interesting journey of a certain moment.
Well, there are lots of moments. It's very difficult to pick and choose one. But what I can think of right now is there was an admiralty matter which I had done for a few crew members. We all know crew members have hardly any knowledge about their rights and all their damages and what they're capable to get from court. But I had done it pro bono. And proudly, I can say that I have helped them get their salaries, which was not paid for a year and more. So yeah, that was a proud moment for me where I could be of some service to people and felt like I'm actually in a noble profession, doing some good, whatever best I can at my end. Yes.
So ma'am, you have your specialization in all types of laws. So which are the particular specializations of fields which you like to practice the most?
Again, pick and choose is going to be really difficult. But what I practice on regular basis is company laws. I find it quite challenging, and it's very interesting to look into the accounts and relate to company laws. Also, banking is another aspect where I concentrate a lot and I practice a lot. Admiralty is again a very challenging place where I do practice a lot. So these are 2-3 spaces where I enjoy more than other areas. Yes.
Okay. So, ma'am, you have been working as a proprietor at GP and Associates and advocates and legal consultants for the last 6 years. Okay. So, what is your experience and what are the few things that you have learned from that has enhanced your life?
It is very different to work with someone and to work in your own. As I said, the journey has a lot of it was a bumpy ride. It had a lot of ups and downs, but it was certainly very learning. I have learned a lot. The experience which I've gained after beginning my own firm was certainly very, very nice. And I had faced a lot of challenges because as a woman, you're not as nicely welcomed as you should be. In some, there's this deep mindset which is it's somewhere in India, which needs to change a bit, I feel. And so there was a little challenge which I had to face in that aspect, but otherwise it was a great journey. I've had really lovely experience, and I'm really glad that I can manage my own firm and do whatever best I can to serve the society from my end.
So, when we talk about you being a professor at Government Law College of Churchgate and then starting your own firm, okay. So, what are some transitions that you have seen in yourself, like as a growth factor, from like teaching students and then your own firm?
So let me tell you, there is a stark difference between education which is imparted in the law colleges and the demands which we face as lawyers. So certainly it has groomed a lot. It has helped me groom a lot. Being a professor has helped me widen my scope and thought process, and looking at how the generation, because students do not have the actual practical experience of the applicability of law. It's very different to read it, and it's extremely different to apply it. So being a professor has helped me look into the theoretical and practical part of it and compare the viability of it and see how best I can impart that from my end to the students. So it has certainly helped me in a lot of way by extending my thought process and widen my scope of looking at how the laws can be read.
Okay. So when we talk about your things, so we all know that you have a diploma in intellectual property laws.
Yes.
So what got you interested in doing that diploma in the first place?
Well, intellectual property rights in itself is a very, very developing field, and we face IPR. We see IPR almost everywhere. We see trademarks, we see copyrights. Everything is almost falls under it. And I always had a keen interest to know more about these laws, understand better about it, because law college, as I said, has a very limited scope of. In fact, we have a very limited time to actually understand the subject. It's a very vast subject. So that's what interested me to get this diploma, and I'm really happy to gain some additional knowledge on it. And so diploma certainly has helped me understand better of all this intellectual property rights matters, which I am taking care of right now. Yeah.
So we know that you have completed your LLM from Maharashtra National Law University. So
yeah,
as a student, what was the experience?
Let me tell you first, jumbling between work and studies at this stage becomes really difficult because there are challenges. Clients are on this time management, which gets really difficult, and technology has been very helpful at this juncture for me, because clients at times become very demanding, and you have to balance your studies. So this journey has helped me be better in time management, and have helped me get more driven to technology and try to get the best out of the technology which I have. So this LLM and work management has has been quite an exhaustive journey, I must say.
Okay. So the last question.
A distinction in LLM has certainly made me satisfied of all the efforts and hard work which I had done. So yeah.
I can see that on your face, like recollecting all the experiences.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So like so what would be your advice, okay, for like a student particularly and as well as a professional who's like going to the law firm or who's going to the law? So what would be that step-by-step process? So if you want to go, let's go first with the student. What should a student do?
I have seen a lot of my experience have been there are a lot of students who join a law with getting influenced by Bollywood movie styles, and they feel that you enter in a courtroom and you shout and you keep on dramatic, and that's what law is about. But when they come to a law school and they actually study law, it's the time when they actually realize that okay, this is not just a drama; it has a lot more in it. And in fact, it is not as dramatic as it has been picturized. So I think students need to have a clarity of what and why they want to do law. They need to be a little more focused. What I have seen in interns these days are the thought process is not towards learning and understanding, but it's more driven towards earning and flourishing in your financials is what I have witnessed. So I think focusing more on your learning from your college days should be the priority. Reading more, participating in a lot of competitions such as moot courts, which helps you train and prepare for the practical challenges which you're going to face. This would be my serious advice to students. And if they're doing internships, I would also suggest them not to jump from one place to from one firm to other firm, because considering their tender age, understanding the gravity of any matter or understanding the depth of any matter would take certainly a lot of time. So if you're joining some place, devote your 100% and don't wait for instructions, try to observe and learn, because that's the skill we have developed. So yeah, that's my advice.
Okay. And if you're looking for someone who's in a profession, who's just started his first job, what would be that suggestion you would like to give that person?
The very first suggestion, I would like to be a little repetitive here, and I'd like to say that if you have just begun your practice, then don't get diverted. Just be focused on whichever place you have joined. You may have your friends who may have been doing really well or may have joined different places and have different kind of exposure. Do not get confused whether you are in the right place or not, unless and until you give enough time to understand whether you're in the right place or not. It's like only if you are backed against the wall, you will understand. You need to learn to break that wall and understand what is it. So jumping, I think, is the biggest problem, and which I said needs to be given a second thought by. And second is observing. You observe the seniors, or I think nobody has enough time to actually teach you unless you are ready to take the feedback. So you should be open to accept your mistakes and learn out of it, rather than be ve- be a little aggressive about it. So I think this is something which freshers need to keep in their mind, that at certain level, honesty would play a lot of important role in your life. If you're honest, you will be able to honest to yourself, then to anybody else, because that's when you realize that okay, this is a mistake I've made and this is what I need to improve. But if you lack honesty, you may have a very difficult journey ahead. So that would be my sincere advice to all the freshers.
Thank you, ma'am. That was very deeply insightful. Over to you, Mr. Lang.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So I will have only one question for you, Gaurangi
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes.
Since you're working with the student community, I want to know how keen are they towards learning new technologies which will help them in their career, and what tools have they learned during their college years and during internship, with you being an example?
Could you just repeat the second half of your question, because there's some internet.
My second part is, what technology tools did the students learn during the internship, and with you also share your your story regarding legal technology.
Definitely. I'll come to your first question as to how much students use technology. I must say the generation has shifted completely to technology, and I am a firm believer of technology. And I think that world ahead is going to be only about technology. So we have to change our mindset. I think COVID has taught us a lot, and if we can change drastically within a period of a month, then I wish we could have done this long before. So technology certainly is very helpful. It helps increase and boost your productivity. And I see a lot of youngsters using different forms of technology. In fact, they are open to explore when it comes to technology. I've been taught a lot of new technologies by my students. I've been advised to use different softwares, which is very surprising to come from a student who's in the first year or second year, and which is good. I'm really glad that generation is moving towards technology because that is the only future. And as far as colleges are concerned, unfortunately, colleges aren't as much into technology as they should be investing in it. But students, since have a lot of internships experience, whichever place they are joining, I think there's a lot of law firms have shifted their manual processes to technology completely. So I think students are getting exposure and people are being comfortable. In fact, today, if you ask me to give me an option of attending an online hearing or an offline hearing, I would prefer a virtual hearing. That's because that is what the future I think is going to be in another 10 years. So students are more than happy to shift. I feel colleges need to invest a little more in technology so that the transition for them from college to their practice would not be as difficult, considering that we are slowly shifting towards technology.
Thank you. My next question will be, you said something about students using softwares and you also using softwares. Can you share some which softwares so the viewers or the listeners who are here, they can also start implementing in
Would
their...
would it be appropriate for me to share the names of the softwares here? Then I would do that. But if you want me to, I would suggest if you I personally use Zoho, I use QuickBooks. I have tried Time Solve as well, and Google and all is obviously Google Suite and all is there. But there are some softwares which are really helpful in managing your day-to-day case management, your billing issues. I must say that I'm getting a lot of personal time because I have invested a lot in technology, which is allowing me to have certain free time, which I can then invest as and where I want. And I'm really great that that people have made these kind of softwares, which really helps us enhance our productivity. So yeah.
So good thing you are an example by how technology has helped you to have free time. So like there are instances where law firms or legal executives, legal professionals have time constraints. And I see a smile on you, okay, which is because of the technology part, which has brought a smile on you. And we want people use you as an example, okay, how technology is helping to give you that work life and family life. So hats off to you, madam.
Absolutely.
Hats off to you. By using right technology, you are very happy, and more happiness to you, ma'am. What do you, Khushboo?
And I would urge people to shift from manual to technology because that's the future.
Yeah, I've written an article on this one. Okay. How did manual technologies is hampering your progress?
Absolutely.
So
thank you, pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for all the
journey is
insights which
there.
all my
The coffee con is still there.
given.
Yeah, the coffee con is still there, ma'am. We are going to the next round. Over to you, Khushboo.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. I would just like to add, I'm a final year law student currently, and I'm more than inspired and impressed by the kind of achievement all the women guests I can see have achieved over here. in a short span of time and as well as in a long span of time. So I'm very much motivated and I look forward to become even as half as you people have achieved in your life. So before moving forward with the second round, I request all the guest speakers to switch on their cameras. Yes. Mansoor sir, over to you. So we can begin our second round and have a discussion about Stree Shakti. Mansoor sir would be taking on forward with that.
But before that, like, I hope let's all pick up our mugs and let's go and click a picture for memory's sake. Subhash, say that.
Should we show off the mugs or we should?
Yeah,
not?
definitely show your mugs. All right. And if you don't have a mug, you can always do a thumbs up. So nothing on that.
I have a mug. So.
We all have a mug.
Thank you. Okay. All right. We're done, Subhash? All right. Okay. So women, Stree Shakti overall. So I want to keep this a little bit like a positive kind of a way, not too much like, like blaming one sex or the other. So let's keep it in a very positive manner while we have this discussion. First things first on that. Okay. So now we notice that when women want to become like lawyers or any kind of fields and everything, what are a few of your advices that you would like to give young women out there to cope up with such problems or with your experiences? So, Khushnuma ma'am, if you could go first.
Me?
Yeah, you.
But tell me what's the problem? You have just told me to give a solution, but I have not known what's the problem.
Let's
I need to
say
know
there's
the
a young
problem
woman.
first.
Okay, so let's say there's a young woman who's dreaming about achieving or going to a certain kind of a job. Say she wants to become a lawyer, but she comes from a very conservative family who doesn't allow women to work. So, what, in your opinion, how she should go forward with such things? Like how she should like change her parents' minds, or how she should step forward with everything.
Good question. See, in India, whether we are in today in 21st century or we have been in 17th century or whichever century it is, this is the culture that has been always dominating the females, that the biggest pressure that they get is from the family, and that's the advantage to the man. So when they see that, okay, the family itself is not supporting a female to step out of the house, they become more dominating on you, and that is happening everywhere. So any woman aspiring lawyer, or to any young girl who wants to stand on her own feet, the first thing that she should know is she has to believe in herself. When you start to walk, you have to put your first foot ahead. The second foot will follow. When you're taking your education, you have to make somewhere this in your mind very clearly, that what is the purpose of you qualifying such a high degree. If you want to stay in home and only be in kitchen, then this degree is not for you. This degree is for those women who are dauntless, who come forward for the society, who come forward for themselves. So it is only you who can change. If you change yourself, you change others. If you don't change yourself, you can't complain that the entire environment is not changing. Dimple is there, Gaurangi is there, Pakhi is there, I am there. We all knew in ourselves that we have to bring a change. We have to change ourselves. Then the change followed around us. So my advice will be, see, it's difficult. Nothing comes easily. It's very difficult. And at times, it happened to me that even I really thought that I would be going under depression if I am not able to do it. But then I had to stand strong for myself. So you have to stand strong for yourself. It's only you who can bring the change. It is only you. We see nowadays we talk so much about. I'm into several chamber of commerce and several social platforms when I speak, when I'm associated, and they are all towards empowering women. But you can only empower a woman when she wants to empower her own self.
So
So
true.
unless I don't empower myself, nobody can empower me. So I have to be strong to put my first foot ahead, then my second foot will follow automatically.
Definitely. That's really insightful. Dimple, what would you like to add on to that?
Well, I completely resonate with what Khushnuma has to say. See, for every woman, I would say that whatever you select, whether it's a law field or any other field, first understand what your interest is. And yes, there will be challenges. There could be challenges from the family. There could be, your family would be supportive also at times. And there could be external challenges also. So challenges are always going to be a part of life. But you take challenges as an opportunity and you step up. So for each and every woman listening over here, and my only advice would be that don't sit back. If you feel that you have something in you, then rise up, because the world is full of opportunities. It's just that our mindset needs to be changed. So maybe that way it would help. Of course, at times when it comes to family pressure, you have to do the convincing, because if you are not convinced, then no one else is going to be convinced. So first convince yourself that this is what you want to do and believe that you can do it. Then convince your family or convince whoever is wanting to be convinced, convince that person, and then move forward. And sometimes, yes, there are risks. Sometimes you will be questioned that you may not be able to, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. At times you will be, you might be even questioned that you will not be able to do it. You're just saying so. Or, long run, you will not be able to do it. Don't take those things as a stepping stone. Take the stepping stone as your determination to move further, and then go for it, because there will be a lot of negatives, there will be a lot of positives. But take the positives and learn from the negatives. That's all I would say.
All right. Thank you, Dimple. Gaurangi ma'am, what would be your take on it?
Well, Khushnuma and Dimple has almost said everything. There's nothing much left for me to say. But I would just like to say one thing: choice, chance, and change. You must make the choice to take the chance if you want anything in your life to change. I would just like to end with that.
Pakhi ma'am.
I really want to add one more 4C, as Ms. Gaurangi has already explained the 3C. So according to me, there's one more. I would literally want to add that. Take the charge of your own things. If you start taking the charge of your own things, own role, own responsibilities, then definitely nothing would stop you, because we can easily make the plans. That is the easiest part in the world for any of us. But implementing is the biggest challenge. So we should always get ready up for the challenge of whatever we are grabbing into it. And being a female, I think it's our responsibility as well to look after our surroundings, of where these kind of women are actually needing our help or not. This is our prime concern as well, because we are the part of this beautiful society, and we even have to nurture it. So I think that is one important aspect that I really want to put forward.
So Pakhi ma'am, just to take this conversation a bit more forward, we have always heard that there is an emotional explanation and there's a logical explanation. So when a woman is out over there, she has to face both these aspects. So how does one actually cope with this and understand that logical is different as well as an emotional reasoning is different? How does one differentiate it and move forward towards the goals?
Firstly, in what context you are trying to ask this question?
I'm talking about like a woman again going for a job or something, but she's like in an emotional factors that I should like go for it, whatever my parents are asking me to do. But back in her mind, she knows whatever parents are asking her to do is not right, what she doesn't want to do. She wasn't going to be cope up with it, or she's not going to go forward with it. So she knows becoming a lawyer is what she actually wants and what she'll make wonders in. That's a logical explanation. While the emotional explanation, no, I cannot like demean my parents or like, not listen to them. So how does one differentiate that?
So I think this is the very common problem when we talk even about the legal industry till date. In many of the families, in many of the Indian families, specifically from the middle class family or from the lower income groups, where the women are still want to pursue their career in the legal, they are not supposed to do it. It's not considered safe, like you, and specifically for the litigation, I'm saying this. So even I have faced this conversation. Somebody came into my house and somebody gave a very friendly advice to my father by stating that she should opt for the judiciary. I mean, because litigation is not safe or corporate is not that good, because they don't understand that there is one different segment that is known as the corporate, or any other sub themes are also there under the legal domain. So, but what was the major prime thing that I faced was that I actually convinced my father that no, I wanted to opt for law only because this is something that is meant for me and I am meant for it. So I think, as Ms. Dimple and Ms. Khushnuma has already clarified, that we actually need to convince that. First, we need to understand actually this is our choice or not, right? And then we need to convince that yes, this is the right thing and we need to approach it in a right manner. Because there's an old saying that if you even say a right thing in a wrong manner, that you will definitely have to face some repercussions. So that should be always, and of course at the end of the day they are your parents, they understand your well-being as well. I am not saying that their decisions are right or their decisions are wrong or whatever they are thinking. They're thinking maybe on a different tangent and we are on a different phase. But again, we have to understand what they are exactly looking forward to, what they are expecting from us. And if we do not and if we both the peoples are not on the same page, then definitely we need to convince them that this is the right approach for me, or this is the right career path for me to opt for. So there comes into the picture this emotional and logical thinking. So logical versus emotional. Sometimes we get emotional and we drop out of our careers or anything, whatever we might feel that is creating a problem. Versus sometimes I have heard many women who have actually just backlash their families just to pursue their career. And frankly speaking, there is no such opinion. I am not that kind of a person who will give an opinion whether this is right or this is wrong, because I think both are right in their own ways, because we never know the other side of the story, what had happened. So I think this is something that women shall learn to how to convince. And if they want to just grow up, then definitely nothing could have stopped them. There's nothing in this world that could stop any person, not just a woman. So this is what I think about it.
Dimple, would you like to add something to that?
Well, when it comes to, as Pakhi rightly said, you can't differentiate between whether the emotional or the logical thinking is right or wrong. But I just feel that you have to, like she said, you have to be sure of what you want. And like I said also before, till you are not sure of what you want to do, everybody will overstep on you. So first thing first is that be sure of the choices that you're making, because as even Gaurangi said, the three C's, and the fourth C, what Pakhi said, all four C's put together is going to first make you that strong woman, and somewhere, though we all use the word, even we ourselves subconsciously keep using the word convince, but the word convince itself, somewhere I feel it's a negative connotation, because that is something that's a matter of your right, or maybe a matter of your life decision that you have to take. But we are so societally conditioned that women need to convince men can opt what they want to do. I'm not differentiating between the two of them. I would prefer an equality, but I feel that you have to somewhere, if that word is to be used, then you have to be sure that you are completely convinced first with yourself. Don't just go. And one more thing I would like to put in is that a lot of people, they get like, okay, they see people on social media, they might see people on different platforms, you have your you get inspired from them. Inspiration is one thing. Every person has their own journey. You first have to see your own journey, what your journey is like, what you are like. You are not like the same person who's on social media showing off something. So the point is that know yourself, train your mind, and then go on, achieve it. That's where I think the emotion as well as the logic will combine over there, when you love what you do and you do what you love.
Definitely. Thank you. Okay, Gaurangi ma'am, taking this thing like the conversation forward. Okay, so now we heard everyone speak their part on it. So is it okay to make a few people sad and go forward with your career? What would be your take on that?
Well, I don't think that we always have to fight all our fights alone. You need not make anybody sad. You just need to convince them. You just need to explain them. It's just the thought process and the understanding which is a difference between both of them. Once that bridge is crossed, there is no question of making anybody sad. It's like going together, because unless you have your family and friends with you, your success is incomplete. So bridge that gap. Don't let anybody sad, or don't let yourself feel sad. Work on it, and don't fight your fights alone. You should get all your family and friends together and then fight. Even the biggest battle will be very easy to win. So that is what I have followed and I have done. I would suggest and I would recommend that to all of you.
Definitely, ma'am. And Khushnuma ma'am, would you like to add something to that? But making people sad, or going forward in life, or for your own happiness? You're on mute, ma'am. You're on mute. Sure.
I think Gaurangi has very well said it. To add it to further, who will be sad except you? Nobody is sad. Everybody wants to dictate their ideas, their ideologies, their terms, their wishes on you. It's you who have to make a choice, what you want. Nobody is going to get sad. In making others happy, you are destroying your entire life. Because, see, I belong to a Muslim community, a very, very conservative and staunch Muslim family. Okay. And for a Muslim woman, even today, you would see it is so difficult to step out of the house and do the thing what they want to do. Okay. So if I can do it, you as well can do it. I was married to a very conservative family. I was born and brought up in a conservative family, though we had all the luxuries, we have all the education. But we were never permitted to step out of the house without my mom. So my mom was always with us wherever we want to go. We were escorted to the school, we were escorted to the college. And even after, when I got married to a man who was again belonging to a very staunch Muslim family, because it was always thought that no, since we are Muslim, so we for us, for a Muslim woman, the world is different. We have to live in those principles of Sharia and Islam. But then you have to break those barriers. You have to come out of it. You can't be living the life of 1500 years back. There has to be a change. You have to bring that change, and somebody has to bring the change. So if I could have at that moment thought to myself, oh, if I do this, if I step out the house, my parents will be, they may not accept me. My husband would divorce me. He would not accept me. Those were all, wild ideas that were there at that point of time in my mind, that what will I do if something goes wrong with my life? I used to hear everything, but there was one thing which I always believed in myself. I said, no, if today I don't stand for myself, I will be never standing for myself. I will not do justice to my life. And I don't want it to die being a known person. God has given me this life. It's my life. So I am the captain of my life. So nobody can decide my life. I have to take the decision of my life. Everybody else can follow. I will hear the decision. I will hear the everything from everybody, but it is me ultimately who has to decide what I have to accept and what I have to reject. I cannot go by others' opinions. I have to make a decision on my own. So for all those girls who are within this dilemma that somebody is going to be sad, nobody is going to be sad except you. It's only you who will be making sad yourself. Nobody gets sad for you.
Definitely. So true on that. Right. Mr. Lion Amirr Virani, would you like to put your own point something in?
Being in among 4 women, we can't say anything. But if everyone has made an impact in their lives, hats off to her. So the series, Stree Shakti, power within you, power around you, you all embodies, you all role models, and the students and the legal professional women who are over here. Even Sashi has given a good feedback, the insights you all shared. So you all have made an impact, and your words, they will be it will be become in the history. So your words now have become historical words. So hats off to you all. The series is very dear to me. Having conversation with 4 lovely, beautiful women. So now we can come to the end round. Over to Khushboo. So be on your now attention. So rapid fire round. Over to Khushboo.
Yes, sir. As rightly mentioned by all the women, that change begins at home, and that what we do will be the stepping stone for the future generations to come. So we had such an intellectual discussion, and now moving to the last round of the session, and it's a fun round. That's the rapid fire round. And so before we begin with the question rounds, there are just some ground rules that whoever will know the answer first will have to raise their hand. The back-end team will keep a check on the scores and a tab on the same. So yes, we can begin with the question round. And we also have a tiebreaker question. So yeah. If so, there would be choose in, like, I cannot see all the people on the camera at once on my phone. So you could like guide me, like who raised the hand first if there would be some issue.
Yeah, Subhash will be there. He will help you.
Yes, definitely. So it's a general batch of questions. So yes, the first question is, who is the new captain of the Chennai Super Kings IPL team after MS Dhoni stepped down as the captain? Option A, Suresh Raina. Option B, Chris Gayle. Option C, Ravindra Jadeja.
Really, I'm really.
Suresh Raina.
I can just pick one on the basis of your options.
Okay. Khushnuma ma'am, I'm sorry, but that's the wrong answer. So, anyone
I am
else?
into no cricket.
That is why I told ma'am it's a general batch of questions to make it more fun and interesting.
I know, so therefore
Because
it was interesting.
all the lawyers have such a packed schedule that they rarely get time for themselves.
We have a
Guess
very
what would
different
also work.
opinion. We do only read those papers that are related to us, but not the second last page that actually consists all the sports news. I think that
Is it Ravindra
But let's
Ravindra
enjoy,
Jadeja?
Pakhi, let's enjoy whatever she has curated. It's
I've
fun.
been assisted by my colleagues. Is it Ravindra Jadeja?
Yes, ma'am,
No,
that's the right
that is
answer.
cheating. That's cheating.
Ma'am is making good use of time. Yes, that's Ravindra Jadeja, and I guess it's been announced yesterday only.
Yes.
So moving on to the second question. When was the Indian Constitution drafted? Option A, 26th December 1949. Option B, 26th January 1950. or option C, 26th November 1949? Pakhi ma'am has
26th
raised
November
her
1949.
26th November 1949 it was drafted, and it was came into the picture on 26th January 1950.
1950. Correctly said, ma'am. Rightly
Okay, I'll
said.
also keep my hands up now. This I knew.
Yes, ma'am. Fastest finger first.
Yeah.
Third question. Who was the first Chief Justice of India? Option A, Sir Hiralal Kalia. Option B, Bhuvneshwar Prasad Sinha. Or option C, Sudhir Ranjan Das.
Who should say first?
Please go ahead, Gaurangi.
Yes,
It
Gaurangi
is
ma'am.
option A. It is option
Sir
A.
Hiralal Kalia. Right. Correct answer, ma'am. That's option A, Sir Hiralal Kalia. Next question. Which judge was impeached in India? Option A, V. Ramaswamy. Option B, Soumitra Sen J. Or option C, C.V. Nagarjuna.
Wait, I'll raise my hand. It is
Third.
option C.
Third.
C.V.
It is option
Nagarjuna.
C.
Ma'am,
Yes.
that's the wrong answer.
Oh, okay. What is the right answer? B?
Dimple ma'am
let
has
Dimple
raised her
answer.
hand. Yes.
Okay.
Mitra Sen.
Right. That's the correct answer, ma'am. It's option B, Soumitra Sen.
Okay, I was
Yes.
confused. Okay.
So, Khushboo, 1 minute. So we have now
Yes.
Pakhi, Gaurangi, and Dimple
All of them are 1-1.
leading with 1 point. Yeah.
Okay, now I need to buck up.
Khushnuma has to buck up.
Yes, sir.
Okay, continue.
Next question is, who is the Vice President of India? Option A, Krishna Kant. Option B, V.V. Giri. Or option C, M. Venkaiah Naidu.
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 Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't raise my hand.
We all know.
Yes.
Venkaiah Naidu.
So I'll get 1 point then.
All get one.
Sir is keeping a tab on the scores.
So who answered first, Subhash?
I answered first. Naidu.
Right.
Subhash is like he's not going to answer. He's like he doesn't want to come in between the war of the women.
Let him will answer in the end. Who's the winner?
Yes. Also, I forgot to mention, we also have a surprise gift hamper for the winner of the rapid fire round, which would be given in person or via courier. So moving on to the next question. Who is the current Attorney General of India? Option A, K.K. Venugopal. Option B, Milan K. Banerjee. Or option C, Mukul Rohtagi.
Do we need options for that?
Again.
Gaurangi ma'am raised her hand first.
Venkat, so.
KK
I'll repeat
Venugopal.
Yes.
KK Venugopal, sorry.
Yes. Yes, Dimple ma'am, that's the right
fine.
answer.
Venkat, sir.
KK
Yeah,
Venugopal.
Venkat, sir.
Again, next we have an interesting question which is not related to legal. Who is the director of Kashmiri Files movie? Option A, Anupam Kher.
I know this.
Option B, V.V. Agnihotri.
Pakhi ma'am got some.
Agnihotri, yeah.
It's Vivek Agnihotri.
Right, ma'am. Next is,
So I think Gaurangi is leading.
Yeah.
yes,
Yay!
I hope there's a Shah Rukh Khan fan in the house because the question is related to him. What was the last movie of Shah Rukh Khan? Option A, Dear Zindagi. Option B, Zero. Or option C, Rais.
Rais.
Rais or I'm not sure.
Wait, just a sec. Sorry,
Right.
what are the three
Zero,
options
zero.
that you gave? Dear Zindagi, Rais, and
Dimple got it.
Well, ma'am
Zero.
got it right.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this.
Yes, Zero is the correct answer, Dimple ma'am. Next question. Which party came second during UP elections? A, BJP. Option B, Bahujan Samaj Party. Or option C, Samajwadi Party.
Samajwadi Party.
Yes, that's the right answer. I wasn't able to see who answered this question.
But that was Pakhi.
Pakhi.
Okay, Pakhi ma'am. Right. So that's the correct answer. That's Samajwadi
I
Party.
was leading. You should have asked a simple question: who won? I would have answered that.
So we didn't want to keep it simple, no?
That is right. It was who was second.
You're not inspired by Three Idiots. Only winners are remembered.
So you are leading, Gaurangi.
Gaurangi is the star of our legal team as well. She is just superb.
Ma'am, ज़्यादा हो गया नहीं?
Nahi, sachi. Either just enjoy, you know.
Ma'am, Khushnuma ma'am is enjoying the competition amongst
I'm
all.
just enjoying the competition, seriously.
She's like, आज बहुत काम कर लिया, से बैठ के मजे लेंगे.
अभी बैठ के मजे लो. सबको लड़ते हुए देखो.
So again, we have a very interesting question next. It's a yes or no question. So
Okay.
is kite flying illegal in India according to the Indian Aircraft Act? Yes or no?
Sorry, I missed the term. Can you please repeat? There's some instability
Yes.
in my net.
Is kite flying illegal in India according to the Indian Aircraft Act? Option A, yes. Option B, no.
Option
Yes,
B.
it is illegal.
I don't think it is illegal. It doesn't go as
It's
on the
illegal.
height as.
Yes,
I'm
it's
not
illegal.
sure of it, but
I
And
think it
Patil,
is,
what
you know,
is-
it
it's
has been
option
made
B.
illegal,
Mine it's option
but
B.
it is left. I think it is made illegal, but it is left to the states to implement it or not. So most of the states don't fly it. It's only Gujarat which
At least in
predominantly flies
Maharashtra,
it.
it is not.
Maharashtra, it is very
Maharashtra,
minimal. So it's
not,
left to
I think
the
it's more
illegal.
state,
more to the funnel.
state government to implement it or not to implement it. There is a restriction from the so
Yes.
you know there are
Dimple
several
ma'am,
laws
you
which
were
are
saying?
state-wise implemented or not implemented.
Right.
Concurrent list, which are on the concurrent list, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Dimple ma'am, do you want to add something to that?
No, I think it is not illegal because if your funnel, the height restrictions and all, if you see for the funnel, if that kite reaches to that level is a different thing, but because generally the planes are flying much higher. But yeah, I think when it comes to the places, as Khushnuma said, where the landing takeoff happens, yeah, you have to be careful about it. So there could be some rules and regulations for that.
That's
which
right.
they
It's
might
open to interpretation and open to rules and regulations. But according to the Indian Aircraft Act, kite flying is illegal
I think it
in
is illegal
India.
because if it gets cut,
I
and if it
have
goes
given the
up,
right answer. Yes.
Yeah.
I have already declared the right answer.
But I
I was
wasn't
the one.
sure of this, but it's a good insight.
Yeah,
Yes.
good insight
Fun
shared
fact.
by all of you all. That was
Good
wonderful.
question,
Okay,
actually.
rapid fire में discussion भी हो गया.
Yes.
It's a good question. Good question.
Thank you. Next question is movie Jai Bhim that was recently released is based on what theme? Option A, road accident. Option B, custodial violence. Or option C, defamation.
What is
Custodial
that?
violence.
Custodial violence.
What is that? There's a movie?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
Jen
Yeah,
is
it's a very
movie.
nice movie.
Yeah, even I've not
I
heard of
don't know.
it.
I have no idea.
It's a
It has
movie where
received
one
great
South Indian
custodial
actor is there.
violence.
Surya played the role of a lawyer, a practicing
yeah.
advocate basically, and represented
Surya
the
was
case
the
in the
one.
court.
correct answer is custodial violence. And it has received great ratings on IMDb recently.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. It is one very nice. It's a very nice movie. It's a must watch.
So,
on
sir,
Netflix?
what are the scores right now? It's on Amazon Prime, ma'am.
Okay.
So I think so. Gaurangi is leading. So Gaurangi is the winner.
Wow.
I think the last answer
Yeah.
counted because otherwise Pakhi was competing at equal with me.
Yes.
And
It was
Pakhi
going at a,
gave a
I
good
also
fight.
had a tiebreaker question.
Yeah, Pakhi also
Yeah,
gave a
it's
good fight.
going to be
Dimple also
between
chipped in
Pakhi
very
and
well.
Gaurangi now.
Khushnuma enjoyed with this kite flying. So good ones. So now let's move. Any questions from the audience? We can have one question and then wrap up.
Yes. There's one question in the chat box related to technology, I guess, about the opportunities of technology law.
So who's answering this question?
Anyone of the guest speakers can address the question.
Can I answer this?
Pakhi.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, Pakhi, go ahead.
No, Dimple, please go ahead. I didn't hear you.
No, that's fine. No, so with regards to technology law, there are the question is what, if you can just repeat?
About the opportunities in technology law. Since these are the
Technology-
subjects, ma'am, being in college, we are not taught.
Correct. So the technology law, you have your Information Technology Act, but at the same point in time, there are different GDPR rules, regulations, which are for your data protection. So if you're looking at getting an experience in technology law, then it is also important because the technology has to be even internationally driven. So you can go through the GDPR laws, you can go through the latest streams judgment, which has been passed in GDPR in EU, which has actually changed the face of data privacy, and how it has actually also changed the big social media companies issues because the servers and all have to now be shifted in the parent companies in which this thing is located, the information is located. So that way, if you go to see, then the technology law as such, though India is still progressing in terms of technology, internationally, the technology law has become much advanced. And somewhere, wherever you will be dealing with, there will be an exchange of technology from India outside or vice versa. What you could do is probably start even looking at and reading on those subjects which are internationally, especially the GDPR regulations, even the Australian regulations, you all can look at. The other thing is now with the invent of crypto and NFTs, again, that is again another technology area. But with crypto being still not too widely accepted by the government, at least NFTs are something that is going on. So maybe you can start looking at and reading about the NFTs, and slowly and gradually, I'm sure that will form a part of the legal work that we do. Pakhi, you can continue.
So I think you have almost covered Ms. Dimple. So I think, is there any further requirement for me to add anything to it?
It's up to you, ma'am. If there's any other suggestion, like what kind of legal internships or job profiles a student should start looking at in his initial careers in field of technology law.
So basically, one, as Ms. Dimple has already quoted, that one needs to be very familiar about the learnings, what the things are going right now in the direction. As I have already mentioned, that there are various certification as well, even for the law students and people who are from the technical background. For the tech people, there are more certifications, but for the law background people, or for the people who are not from law background, either from the law background or from the technical background, they can opt definitely for those certifications. They can definitely go up and check about the ISO 27100. So it's a sort of a certification that actually provides you a glimpse about the IT audit thing. So in that aspect, you can definitely make up your career. And if you are interested into the forensic parts, then also there are certain other certifications. However, for the forensic parts, a specified science degree is required to be there, BTech is there, or some other type of the similar degrees needs to be required. Network engineering is there. So these are n number of options. One more such prominent option for those who are not from the not from the technical background is data protection officers. So basically, data protection officers are the one who are designated to take care of all the compliance part of that specific region or continent, and they are required to make the company compliant to it. So it is one such certification, and definitely you can opt for that. You can just go to the website about the IEPP and just visit them, and there there you can just definitely, you have to pay a specific amount to them, and then you can just, they will provide you a reading material. You can just opt for that and you can just give your exam. Once you qualify that, you got a degree from them that yes, you are a certified person, and now you can just apply in any other organizations, because as we see that cybersecurity is a booming field and everything is blooming around here and there. So they require those people who had a great expertise in this. So however, talking about the freshers, you can definitely opt for start doing the internship in the same regime. Go for those law firms that are dealing into IT related matters. There are various firms that are into it. Start interning in the courts, start interning in the corporates if they take you. So these are some small steps that you need to be clear. But before then anything, you need to make a roadmap in your mind that this is the roadmap and anyhow or the other I have to follow it. So these are some basic steps that needs to be covered.
Yeah, that was good insights, Pakhi, you have shared. I'd like to share one news with all the speakers and with all the audience. As part of a CSR activity, we had sponsored 20 students under a program, Saksham Student Empowerment Program, for Technology Law Certificate course organized by Praveen Gandhi Law College with Technology Law Forum. So around 70 students had participated, and 20 students which we had sponsored. And I was also a part of as invited to be an observer. I'd seen the topics which Pakhi had mentioned. There is another interest I want to add of Netflix, OTT movies, copyright, the plagiarism. So that is also a new thing which technology law part, many students can join. There are many OTT companies, what do you say, Z5, Amazon Prime, so many. So the avenues of many have opened up under technology law, which Pakhi had summarized and which I'm just adding. So technology law has broadened up during this pandemic times, and many more opportunities will come up. So do look out. What I'll say, there are colleges who are doing certificate courses. So take part and enrich your knowledge and interns and join companies where such opportunities are there, and you can then migrate to starting your own law firm. So Khushboo.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. I would really like to thank, first of all, to all the women for sharing your knowledge, your feedback, and giving us your valuable time today and coming on this session. We also look forward to having you on board and meeting you again. Also, we would try to meet in person instead of this virtual thing. So yes, thank you everyone for giving and sharing so much of knowledge and motivation for all the young students and also the professionals out there, and setting goals and standards for women out there, how to be strong and how to be achievers and strive to hard work, because there's no substitute for that. So with this, we come to the end of today's coffee conversation session. I would like to thank our partners, that is Prime Infotech, India Business Group, Lions Club of Mumbai Shining, Novum Learning Students Group, and Team TEIF. And also to our gifting partner, that is Fivers Expressions. So we all had a great session, and similarly, we have a surprise for all the participants who had joined this session. They will be receiving a calendar worth 2,499 rupees on their emails. So yes, you can go and check your emails later after this session ends. So I hope everyone stays safe.
I just want to add about the gift.
Weekends.
This is a 1-year annual social media calendar. So what to post, when to post, everything is there. So now legal professionals have become active on social media, including LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. So this is a gift from the Emerging India Forum with 5S Expressions. So use this calendar and you'll see how you become a thought leader, and you can get many more inquiries. And we want, now social media has to be utilized in a proper way. So we are just helping you all with this calendar. Thank you.
Thank you so much for adding on.
Thank you for such a lovely session.
Thank you so much.
Goodies.
Thank you everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Khushboo,
Thank you,
Mansoor,
everyone.
and Amirr.
Thank you
This
so
was
much.
amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah, love having conversation with four beautiful, lovely ladies. You have made my day. In spite of we had some hiccups, which we all know, our team knows, but we pulled it off by God's grace, and it was lovely having 2 hours, 15 minutes conversation, and no one wants to leave. That's superb.
Thank
So I
you.
hope
Pleasure. Thank you.
all enjoyed,
See you soon.
and we'll meet in person. And the coffee is on me. The real
Look
coffee.
forward.
Yeah, yeah.
Look forward for the
Thank you,
coffee.
everyone. Yeah,
All
stay
right.
Thank you
safe.
so much.
Enjoy your weekend.
All right, bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you very
Have a
much.
great weekend,
Yeah.
everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.